Hi, this is Paul Howell, Managing Editor for Singapore Business Review. Today I'm presenting the Technology Excellence Awards, celebrating all the best, the brightest and the most innovative digital projects from across Singapore's business landscape over the last 12 months. Winning in the computer software category was JobKred, and I'm joined now by its CEO, Gary Garn. Gary, great to meet you and thank you very much for being here.
Thanks.
Can you tell us a bit about the JobKred Enterprise solution and platform? What is it and how does it work?
So JobKred is actually a company that developed this AI-powered workforce transformation platform. So what the platform does is that it helps companies to use big data and AI to be able to plan their future, to really understand the trends of the jobs and skills and what the rest of the industry is doing, what sort of technologies they're bringing in a big data sort of perspective, and then take that data to be able to craft their own development and transformation plans. But at the same time, of course, we focus on the workforce transformation side of things to help their staff understand what are these new directions that a company wants to go into, and then take action to be able to pick up the right skills, get recommended to the right career paths or the right training within the company, and then take that next step to evolve in their own skills and competency development.
Is there any one particular element that you and your team are most proud of in this project?
I think this human capital development has been something that is a priority of the Singapore government, as well as many companies in Singapore for a while. You can hear so much feedback and kind of news from the government about reskilling, retraining, etc. But it's very, very hard for companies to turn that into something practical, into something implementable, because this is not a simple project. It involves every single part of the company, from the rank and file all the way up to the management. Right? So how do you make sense of this process? How do you make it efficient? How do you make it actually actionable? Right? So that's where we come in. We have taken that time to actually not just think about the technology behind it of AI, but about how do you apply that towards this sort of human capital development challenge. And it's not just technology problem, but it's a process and people problem where we need to get the process properly mapped out, as well as getting everybody within the company on board in this initiative. So getting to provide features within the system that gets buy-in from every stakeholder within the company was also something that was challenging, right? So I think overall what we're really very proud of is that we were able to take this big transformation and reskilling initiative into something very actionable and practical, that we have helped companies to turn their whole process of transformation from, it can be years before they actually start having something actionable on this process, something that used to take 5 to 10 years, we brought it down to even 5 months or even less to get results. I think that's something we're really, really proud of.
Is the technology behind JobKred Enterprise applicable across all industries?
Yes, I think fundamentally AI is being used across many different use cases and verticals. But the key thing for us is that as a software company, we're very focused on our area, which is human capital development. But within that space, there's many different applications for AI. Right? Obviously, we are using it in the learning and development phase. A lot of companies have asked us to help them in the talent management area, where can you use AI to detect who is the best person to be able to do this role? Or even in, someone has even asked me to use our system in merger and acquisitions. Can we quantify the value of skills within the target company? Right? So there are many applications, I would say, in terms of this big data and human capital intelligence that can be used in many areas, not just purely in HR, but strategic business acquisitions or resource management, etc. So I think the possibilities are endless, but at least for our company now, we are really focused on this space of workforce transformation and development, but the future, sky's the limit for us to go to.
Now, technology is always evolving and rapidly so over the last couple of years in particular. How does JobKred look to stay relevant in such a fast-moving and competitive landscape?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think being a technology company, we won in the software, computer software category, right? Technology is our blood, right? We have to make sure that we're competitive, not just to the incumbents, but also to be able to look 5 to 10 years in the future, right? So in that perspective, we have always chosen artificial intelligence as our kind of North Star, where we're looking at not just collecting data for big data, but how do you use that data in very practical manners, and how do you allow future possibilities with that data. So we are empowering this HR function with AI capabilities. AI has been applied in so many different industries, but HR is one of those that hasn't really taken off. So I think for us, being able to continue focusing on this AI as our unique value proposition, that's one of the key things. But secondly, it's also really about solving important problems in human capital management, human capital development, skills development, that is important as well, because you must have a practical use for AI. A lot of times, researchers in universities, they can create the best algorithms, but they don't understand the problems that are faced by the business users, the man on the street, for example. And that's where we need to marry these two areas of technology and the science behind it to the practical, boldly applications of it. I think that's critical for us.
And what will be your focus over the coming few years? Are there further initiatives that your clients and stakeholders can look forward to seeing?
I think, again, we are really focused on our core, which is using a data science and AI approach to help make sense and develop the skills and capabilities of people within the company or even within the country. So for us, we want to continue to focus on building better use cases, better applications of the technology, and even deepening some of our data science capabilities. Again, the sky's the limit in terms of the applications of it. It can be more in learning and development. Of course, we continue with that, but there's a lot of managing and resource allocation issues that can be solved with an intelligence system that's based on data-driven ways to do it, right? Not just like, I feel this person is really good at certain skill or job, right? But it's more based on that big data approach. So I think that kind of possibilities we are really exploring over the next few years. The first phase of our work with companies is really about getting data, having an easy way to gather external data as well as internal data in that language of jobs and skills. Next phase will be how can we make use of that? How can we actually create better value for the companies, better value for the individuals through the use of technology in furthering their skills development or their careers. I think that's something that we're very passionate about, and we're excited to show more over the next few years.
And finally, Gary, what does it mean to you and your team to have won at this year's SBR Technology Excellence Awards?
So I think we are all very excited and very glad that we received this award. I think for us, it's really about recognition, right? Recognition from the industry, as well as from the esteemed panel of judges from SBR. I think for us, it kind of validates all the hard work that we've gone through as a startup to get to where we are today, where we have big enterprise clients, Fortune 50 clients, and also recognition from the industry of the good work we are doing. So I think for the team, it's really about getting that recognition and also getting that sort of confidence and that sort of kind of hope and vision that we will continue to do well in this category and in this space. And I hope to continue winning this award for many years to come. So thank you again for awarding this to us.
Gary Garn, thank you very much for joining me, and congratulations once again.